This is a meeting of the Tinton Falls Borough Council being held March 1st, 2022. This meeting is hereby called to order. Would the clerk please read the open public meeting statement?
Pursuant to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board at Borough Hall and by notification to the Asbury Park Press, the Newark Star Ledger, and the New Coaster at least 48 hours prior to the meeting and filing with the Borough Clerk all on January 4th, 2022.
Thank you. May I ask the clerk to call the roll, please?
Mrs. Clay?
Here.
Dr. Dobrin?
Here.
Mr. Manginelli?
Here.
Mr. Nessie?
Here.
Ms. Buckley?
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. There are 3 sets of meeting minutes for approval this evening. May I have a motion to approve the January 4th, 2022 regular session meeting minutes?
Motion.
Okay, motion, Mrs. Clay, second?
Second.
Actually, John, you weren't at that one, so.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Nessie. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Clay?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mr. Manginelli?
Yes.
John, that's the meeting you weren't at?
I was not at that meeting?
Yeah.
January?
January, the reorganization?
Abstain.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Nessie?
Yes.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the January 18th, 2022 regular and executive session meeting minutes?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Clay?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mr. Manginelli?
Yes.
Mr. Nessie?
Yes.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes. Oops. Skipped a page. Next, we'll move on to reports, and we'll start with Mr. Neff, our borough engineer.
Thank you, Council President. A few things on the agenda. We have an ordinance for final consideration and public hearing for the electric vehicle ordinance. If there are any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer those later. Our contractors for the various park projects continue working as material comes in. They keep moving forward. They're currently working at Hockoxton Park doing some curb and drainage improvements over there. They're working over at Sycamore. They're wrapping up some of the foundations for the new pavilion structures that will be going up. Otherwise, throughout town, New Jersey American Water has been doing their water main project on Wayside Road and Pinebrook Road. I was informed that they should be wrapping that up hopefully by the end of this week. And then coming up later this month, starting on March 16th, Parkway Exit 105 interchange. The state is going to be starting a large project there. They're going to be starting with the ramps at the southbound express and northbound express lanes. Those will be shut down for 9 months. There'll be detours where you can take either the opposite local or express lanes, so it shouldn't be a drastic impact. But just so you're aware of what's going on there, for the public, there is a website that has all the information and plans on there. It's GSP for Garden State Parkway, GSPexit105.com. And so we'll coordinate with the police, and the borough will get that link put up on the borough's website and the Facebook pages, just so there's more information available for everyone what's going on with that.
Is it just general repaving? Or is
No,
it
they're actually replacing the entire bridge structures.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's a large project. Yeah, there's 4 different phases. The first 2 phases are starting in March. They'll last about 9 months, and then they're going to be moving on to another 2 phases. So the project will be taking place for a good year plus.
Oh, boy. Okay. Thank you.
That's all I have.
That'll be fun in the summer.
Well, so they are working around the summer. The other phases, they can only start Labor Day, and it has to be completed on Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. That's it for your report?
Yes. that's it.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Fallon's not here this evening, so welcome to Mr. Tarafenko, our new business administrator. Happy to have you with us. And do you have a report this evening?
No, Council President, no report. I'd just like to extend a word of gratitude to the mayor and the council for putting their faith and credit in me to serve as the borough administrator for the borough of Tinton Falls and the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Perillo, do you have a report this evening?
This is more or less in a personal vein. I mentioned at one of our meetings, whether it was the workshop or executive meeting, that I was definitely opposed to this cannabis business. And why I'm opposed to it, is for many reasons. Number one, it's going to put a burden on the borough. Number two, I keep reminding myself of the things I learned in school about no outside source is going to conquer the United States, but it'll be, if we lose what we have today, it'll be internally, and I think that this cannabis stuff is almost a start. If they want, they don't have to lift a finger. All they have to do is hand out the drugs free, and anyway, we're up a tree. As I say, just a personal feeling, and I would recommend that when we come up with this, I still think for somehow, if I could get my attorneys to find out if I, as the mayor, if I could opt out again and get away from all the last ordinance that we wrote. Anyway, as I say, it's my personal opinion, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perillo. Mayor Perillo. Mr. Starkey, our Director of Law, do you have a report this evening?
I don't. I would just like to welcome Mr. Tarapenko to the meeting and to the table. It's good to have you on board.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Starkey. Ms. Hutchinson, our Borough Clerk.
I do not have a report tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to council reports, and we'll start with Mrs. Clay.
Thank you, Council President. I would also like to welcome Mr. Tarapenko to the Borough of Tinton Falls. I would like to share that next week we will be having our first Green Team meeting, and that's very exciting that is coming to fruition. And also, we will be revisiting this topic, but I would like to mention that today is the first day of Women's History Month. And it's an important thing to remember, and women's history and women's accomplishments are part of what puts these women up here, right here on the dais. So, Women's History Month. Thanks.
Well said. Thank you. Dr. Dobrin, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. So tonight, a resolution approving the Tinton Falls Library project and execution of the New Jersey State Library grant agreement is on the consent agenda, as you all know. A similar resolution from the Tinton Falls Library Association will be voted upon on March 3rd. Both of these resolutions are needed for the state to finalize the state to send out the grant agreements. So these have to be back to the state by April 12th. I'm sure that'll happen. The background, of course, as most of you know, the New Jersey State Legislature approved an appropriation in the amount of $217,500 for the Tinton Falls Public Library. Now, the only purpose for the grant amount is to finance eligible expenses of a library construction project. That does exclude other expenses such as furniture, books, computers, operating expenses, hiring of personnel. So the Library Association told me to mention that funding continues to be critical for the Tinton Falls Library Association. And the Tinton Falls Borough has appropriated $150,000 this year to the TFLA and appreciates the support and, of course, any additional support in the future. And I believe I'll give a shout out to Rosemary Kochman, the president of the Library Board of Trustees, is here tonight. So give her a wave. And of course, I want to also thank our new business administrator for taking the job. I'm sure we're going to have a great relationship here with the council and the mayor. So thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Dobrin. Mr. Manginelli?
No, Council President, I don't have a report tonight.
Okay. Mr. Nessie?
Thank you, Council President. No report for Planning Board. The Chicken Advisory Board, we had our first meeting a couple weeks ago. It was a great, good start, very successful. I think the team that we have built around chickens for this town is great minds to think how to move forward to have backyard chickens. So I'm very happy with what we're doing so far. Applications for residents to apply should be hopefully available within the next month or so, once we kind of iron out all the details. And then I have a couple of recreation updates. The recreation basketball program will be completed on Friday, March 11th. A special thank you to all the participants, coaches, and parents for their support. We hope everyone had a great season. Looking forward to spring sports. Little League registration for baseball and softball for boys and girls ages 7 to 14 is complete. Tremendous interest, and the opening day parade is scheduled for April 30th. T-ball registration for both pre-ball and team play began on Monday, February 28th, and this program also has had a tremendous interest. This year, the Monmouth Falcons Pop Warner Football League is sponsoring Spring Flag football program for children ages 5 through 14 this spring. The program will be held April through June. Save the date for our annual egg hunt. This event is scheduled for Saturday, April 9th. More information to follow. We will also continue with spring sessions for our kids' art classes and Snapology STEM programs. The rec department will be offering a 5-week summer program this summer, scheduled between July 11th through August 11th. We are in the early stages of planning and organizing. We are looking forward to offering a great program filled with lots of great activities. The Recreation Department encourages everyone to sign up for our email distribution list on the Community Pass registration program as to upcoming events and activities. We post our activities on Community Pass, the Borough website under Recreation Department, our Facebook page, and we also send information through the Tinton Falls Board of Education email blast. And that is from Sherry, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Nessie. And for my report, just a couple of items. First, as you guys all may remember, our Historic Commission, we passed a resolution where they got awarded from Monmouth County Historic Commission a $5,000 grant towards signage and new stairs at the Crawford House. Monday evening was that grant award. I was able to dial in on Stacy Slowinski and David Tripold from the Historic Commission, represented Tinton Falls, to officially get that grant award. So that was a lovely ceremony. It was all online, virtual. We had our Tinton Falls Environmental Commission meeting last week. Primary discussion was around the green team that is starting, and also, as you guys may have seen signs in stores, the New Jersey state law that was passed last year goes into effect around plastic bag ban as of May 4th. So we discussed that a bit. There will be, our DPW and our Environmental Commission will be at a number of the different town events, like the Little League opening, like the Easter egg hunt, to raise public awareness of this, and also to give out the reusable bags that Tinton Falls has to members of the public, and just to educate them about this plastic bag ban and what you can do, what you can't do, what certain size businesses can and can't do. So I just wanted to mention that tonight, and I believe that is it for my report this evening. All right, moving on, there are no ordinances for introduction this evening. There is one ordinance for final consideration. We will hold a public hearing on this ordinance with comments being limited to 3 minutes. Comments may only pertain to the ordinance. May I ask the clerk to read the title of the ordinance, please?
2022-1484, an ordinance amending Chapter 40, Section 4 of the Borough Code entitled Definitions, and creating a new section of the Borough Code, Chapter 40, Section 33.D.17, entitled Electric Vehicle Supply Service Equipment, EVSE, and Make-Ready Parking Spaces.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open the public discussion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment? Please remember to state your name and address for the record, and this comment period is just as pertains to this ordinance. All right. Seeing none, were there any comments submitted Ms. Hutchinson?
No, there were not.
All right. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you for the second, Mr. Manginelli. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any council members that would like to comment on this ordinance? All right, seeing none, may I have a motion for adoption?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. May I have a roll call?
Mrs. Clay?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mr. Nessie?
Yes.
Mr. Manginelli?
Yes.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes. Now we will move on to the open public discussion. May I have a motion to open the public discussion?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is the time the public may comment on any topic of their choice. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. I'll start by asking the clerk if there were any public comments submitted in writing prior to tonight's meeting.
No, I did not receive any.
All right, great. Is there anyone in the audience this evening that would like to make a comment? All right. Hearing no further comments, may I have a motion to close the public discussion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Nessie. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Dobrin. All in favor?
Aye.
Miscellaneous business. Does any member of council have anything to add that didn't cover during reports? Okay. Before we move on to the consent agenda, are there any items any member of the council would like to be removed and voted on separately? All right, seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Clay?
Yes.
Dr. Dobrin?
Yes.
Mr. Manginelli?
Yes.
Mr. Nessie?
Yes.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes. There is no workshop or executive session this evening, so this concludes today's business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned at 7:50 PM. Have a good evening, everybody.
I spoke too much.
It's almost wrong.
Oh, this is one of our, like,